When Jennifer Hudson and Common stepped out together, the internet exploded. Two Chicago legends, two powerful voices. One love story that felt written by the universe itself. Fans didn't just like them, they believed in them. Jennifer Hudson wasn't just another celebrity, she was a survivor. A woman who had lost everything and rebuilt herself with grace, faith, and an unbreakable voice. Common, on the other hand, was the conscious poet of hip-hop, intelligent, spiritual, and emotionally articulate. Together, they looked like the kind of couple people prayed to become. Interviews painted a perfect picture. They talked about divine timing. They talked about growth. They talked about alignment. Jennifer smiled differently when she mentioned his name. Common spoke softly, carefully, like a man who finally understood love. But here's the thing about fairy tales. Sometimes, the most dangerous lies are wrapped in beautiful words, behind the cameras, behind the red carpets, behind the perfectly edited sound bites. There were cracks forming, cracks that most people didn't want to see, because when something looks that good, nobody wants to ask uncomfortable questions. Why had Common never been able to maintain a long-term relationship? Why did so many women before Jennifer walk away quietly, without drama, without explanations? And why did every breakup follow the same mysterious pattern? At first, the split between Jennifer Hudson and Common was framed as mutual, respectful, spiritual, peaceful. No cheating allegations, no public fights, no messy Instagram stories. Just two adults choosing different paths. But Hollywood doesn't work that cleanly. And the silence, that was the loudest clue of all. Jennifer didn't immediately speak badly about Common. In fact, she defended him. She chose her words carefully. She talked about lessons, not losses. But something felt off. Fans started replaying old interviews. Small pauses, slight changes in tone. That glowing smile slowly replaced with something more guarded. Then came the reactions. First whispers, then side comments. Then voices that had been silent for years suddenly found the courage to speak. And at the center of it all was one name. People weren't ready to hear again. Jaguar, right? Jaguar didn't sugarcoat anything. She never does. When asked about Jennifer Hudson's breakup, Jaguar didn't act surprised. She acted validated. Like someone watching a story end exactly the way they had warned it would. She claimed this wasn't new. This wasn't shocking. This wasn't unique to Jennifer, according to Jaguar. Jennifer wasn't special. She was just the latest chapter in a long pattern. And that's when things started getting uncomfortable. Because once you look past the romance, once you strip away the spiritual language and the poetic interviews, a different story begins to appear. A story about emotional distance. A story about commitment without permanence. A story about a man who loves the idea of love, but not the responsibility of staying. And if Jaguar Wright was telling the truth, Jennifer Hudson didn't lose a relationship. She escaped a cycle, but the real bombshell, it wasn't Jaguar, it was Common's own mother. Because when she finally spoke subtly, carefully, she may have revealed the truth no one else dared to say out loud. And once you hear what she hinted at, everything suddenly makes sense. Hollywood has a funny way of protecting its favorites. When someone is talented, respected, and well-spoken, their flaws get rebranded as complexity. Their emotional unavailability becomes independence. Their inability to settle down becomes growth. That's exactly how Common has been framed for decades. Women come and go. Relationships start strong and end quietly. And every time, the same narrative appears. It just didn't work. But Jaguar Wright wasn't buying that story anymore. She claimed she warned Jennifer Hudson early on, not out of jealousy, not out of bitterness, but out of experience. According to her, Common shows women exactly who he is. After they're emotionally invested, Jaguar described him as a man who loves the beginning, the excitement, the admiration, the validation. But when things require consistency, compromise, and permanence, something shifts. Jennifer Hudson, for the first time in years, looked genuinely hopeful. She talked about peace, about feeling safe, about feeling seen. And yet the ending came just as quietly as it always does. No ring, no future plans. No public heartbreak, just distance. Then came Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany didn't directly attack Jennifer, but her reaction raised eyebrows. Subtle shade, telling comments. A tone that suggested she wasn't surprised either. That's when fans started connecting the dots. Different women, different backgrounds. Same ending, and then Common's mother spoke. She didn't accuse. She didn't expose. She didn't attack her son, but she hinted. She talked about how Common was raised, about emotional independence, about never needing to rely on one person, about freedom being valued more than attachment. It wasn't a confession. It was a clue. Suddenly, everything lined up. Common isn't a villain. He isn't evil, isn't intentionally cruel. He's emotionally self-contained. A man raised to believe that love should never feel like obligation, and that belief, it costs the women who fall for him everything. Jennifer Hudson didn't lose herself publicly, but privately. The disappointment was real. You could hear it when she finally spoke. Still graceful, still respectful, but noticeably more careful. She chose growth.com and chose familiarity. And the cycle continued. But here's the real question no one is asking. Why do women keep mistaking emotional poetry for emotional availability? Why do we celebrate men who talk beautifully about love, but never stay long enough to live it? Jennifer Hudson's story isn't just about a breakup. It's about a warning in Hollywood. Spirituality often replaces accountability. Words like timing, energy, and alignment sound mature, but they can also be shields. Shields that protect people from being honest about their limitations. Common didn't fail Jennifer Hudson. He stayed exactly who he's always been, Jennifer. However, evolved. She entered the relationship open, vulnerable, hopeful, and she left. It wiser, quieter, and more self-protective. That's not failure, that's survival. Jaguar writes, bluntness wasn't cruelty, it was frustration. Frustration at watching the same story repeat itself with different women. While the public keeps defending the man at the center of it all. And Common's mother. She didn't expose her son. She explained him. Some people are built to walk beside. Others, some are built to walk alone. The tragedy happens when someone pretends they want partnership, but only knows independence. Jennifer Hudson didn't lose love. She lost an illusion. And sometimes, that's the most painful breakup of all, because letting go of what could have been hurts more than losing what actually was. So the next time a relationship ends peacefully, remember this: silence doesn't always mean maturity. Calm endings don't always mean mutual understanding. And beautiful words don't always mean beautiful intentions. Jennifer Hudson chose herself, and that might be the real happy ending. Happy ending.